Welcome to Mbuya Parent School and Kindergarten, situated in Kampala City with modern, well-equipped facilities plus extensive playing fields and amenities. Mbuya Parent School believes that a better future lies where children know how to find and create balances in themselves and the world around them. This explains our fusion of academic subjects and co-curricular activities. There are many opportunities presented to them to flourish both in and outside the classroom.
I want to become a president when I grow up.
I want to be a pilot.
I will be the best fashion designer.
Mbuya Parent School. The sky is our limit.
This is Innocent Baria to take you through Science Primary 6, Lesson 2. Before we begin on the content for Lesson 2, in Lesson 1, I left you with an activity. And we have to go through this activity, we have the corrections, then we go for the second lesson. Our activity had two questions, and the first question were to name the parts on the mammalian heart. The parts were labeled from part A to K, and the corrections are already here. This is part A up to part K. Then our second question wanted us to state the role of the valves, and the use of the valves, they prevent the backflow of blood. In today's lesson, we are going to look at the blood vessels. Last time, we talked about the blood saturation. And among the components of the blood saturation, we had the heart, blood vessels, and then blood. We completed the heart. Now it is time to discuss the blood vessels. By the end of this lesson, I expect all of you to be able to mention the three types of blood vessels, state the difference between arteries and veins, and their adaptation to what they do. As I've already told you that we're going to talk about blood vessels. When I talk about blood vessels, what are they? Blood vessels, these are tubes through which blood moves in the body. When blood is moving in the body, it uses those tubes. The blood vessels, they are majorly three of them, the types. The first one, we have the arteries, we have the veins, and then the last group, we have capillaries. Make sure that you master the spellings of these blood vessels. Now we are going to go in details about each of them. Let's pick the arteries and see. When we are talking about arteries as blood vessels, arteries, they are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart. These arteries, if you look at we have an illustration here. Let's look at this. We have a passage. You have said it carries blood away from the heart, but we have this passage. This passage is called lumen. Now for the arteries, you find for them their lumen is narrow. Now we'll say arteries have the narrow lumen. Let us look at the thickness of the muscles here. This is the part we are talking about. This is the walls. These are the walls. Now we find that the arteries have thick walls. They are having these thick walls because these arteries carry blood at a higher pressure. Now we'll find that another thing we can talk about them, we can say that arteries carry blood at a higher pressure. When you again look clearly on them, this is the passage you talked about. I told you it is called the lumen, this part. For them, they do not have the valves in them. You see, the passage is just clear. All the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood, apart from one. And that one is the one we talked about, which is connected to the heart. It is called pulmonary artery. This pulmonary artery is one of the blood vessels that are connected to the heart. Then, we have already talked about this. They do not have the valves. They carry blood at a higher pressure. Now this, let's go to another type of blood vessels. And these are the one we call the veins. The veins, these are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart. The other one carry blood as they bring to the heart. Those were the arteries. Now we are looking at the veins. This one, they carry blood at a low pressure. We can have the two, the veins and then the arteries, and compare them and see the difference among them. When we are to look at the difference between the arteries and the veins, we can first look at the structure and again their functions, what they do. Let's have some of the structural differences. The one you can look at, like one here. We have arteries do not have valves, while veins have valves. This one is an artery. This one is a vein. The vein has, these are the valves we are talking about. The vein have these valves, but this one, there are no valves. Let's have another difference. You find that arteries have a narrow lumen, while veins have a wide lumen. The lumen, we said, is the passage. This one is an artery. If you see, this is the passage of blood. This one, it is narrow. When you look at the one for a vein, this one is wide. Let us look at another structure difference. Arteries have thick walls, while veins have thin walls. We are looking, if this one is the lumen, the passage, now we are looking at the thickness here. The walls here. Arteries have thick walls. The veins, theirs are thin. Why are these ones thick like this? Remember, we said arteries carry blood at a greater pressure, or the pressure of blood is too high. That's why for them they have thick walls and these ones have thin walls. I've talked about the pressure. I've talked about the pressure of blood. If you look at this one is showing the blood flowing. In case an artery is damaged, blood spurts out. But if a vein is damaged by accident, you find that the blood comes out oozing slowly by slowly. The reason the blood in veins is at a low pressure and the one in arteries, it is at a greater or at a higher pressure. Then we can have other differences. Among them, mostly now we are also going to look at their functional difference. There, the structure, what you can look at, but another structure difference that we never talked about is the direction of blood. Where do they carry blood to? I have here, you can look for it. Arteries. All arteries carry blood away from the heart. Then all veins carry blood to the heart. This one is a functional difference. We can also have another functional difference. Arteries carry oxygenated blood apart from the pulmonary artery. Being oxygenated means it contains more of oxygen in it. And then this one, which is deoxygenated, this one contains more carbon dioxide. But the two gases are in the two blood, either blood, whether oxygenated or deoxygenated, has oxygen and carbon dioxide. But with oxygenated, it has more of oxygen. Okay, after the comparison between the arteries and the veins, we are going to look at the third type of blood vessel, and those ones are capillaries. Capillaries, they are the smallest blood vessels. They are the ones that join the arteries and veins. If you look at this illustration, this one is showing that this one is an artery, this one is a vein. Now this one, the one that is joining the two, these are the ones we call blood capillaries. They are very small. They are extremely thin-walled extremely thin-walled because they are so that they can allow the diffusion of different materials like digested food, carbon dioxide, and oxygen, because it is the one that these are the ones that are found in the body organs. Now from here we are going to have the activity. I've set for you some few numbers so that after this you can do this work. They are only 4. In your time, you read. This one is activity 2. You read and answer. Then in my next lesson, we'll see what to do. Then we have another work. Thank you very much.